What's up, everyone? It's the God, Young Montu-Ra, and welcome to Montu-Ra, the podcast, where I talk about the good, the bad, and the downright dirty of music, business, and spirituality. What's up, my gods and goddesses? And we are back again, episode 15, I believe. Appreciate everybody for tapping in again on today. This is your weekly cosmic forecast, August 7th through August 13th. You know what time it is. Leo season in full effect. We're feeling proud. We're feeling grand. I don't know if everybody's feeling playful out there, but I'm feeling very serious right now. It's that intensity of the sun. This is something that I'm letting everybody know it's our time to shine. It's going to be a lot of drama for your mama in this transit here. So we're blossoming at this time. We're trying to enjoy ourselves, enjoy our gifts. But at the same time, it's the shadow side. You know, I like to talk about the good, the bad, and the downright dirty. This is that self-centered and vain energy. I love that, though, with this Leo sun, is that we're trying our best to take the high road. And I talk a lot about, we talk a lot about being the star of the show, right? We talk about being on a team, but bringing value to that team, wanting to be that best player, wanting to stand out, but also wanting to bring that understanding that we can be depended upon as well. But we're being told and led to be the center of attention during this sun energy. And I want people to understand that we are all Leos. It's not about if your birthday was in this season, right? We're all Leos. We're in the entire horoscope. So I don't want people listening to this and get caught up where your sun is. We need to understand that we are everything in the cosmos. But I talked a lot about Leo season, so I'm not going to harp on it too much with this week. But I do want to talk about the moon, and we're having a new moon in Leo coming up here in the next week or so, and this is about helping us to look at the bigger picture. So the last quarter moon is happening on tomorrow. I'm actually recording this today, August 7th. This last quarter moon is going to help us to focus on our consciousness, right? We're basking in the awareness that is symbolized by the full light of the moon at the time of last week's full moon. So we have to understand this is not going to be the most ideal time to start any new project or projects. We talk a lot about sorcery. We talk a lot about seeing. We talk a lot about the conscious mind and the higher power. So when we're using the moon, this isn't the greatest or the best time to actually use the energy of the moon. The new moon is that new beginning. So I do believe this week we're having to consider these different revelations that we might have had, what they mean to us, and what we're going to do about them. So we're going to start new projects on this new moon that's going to happen on August 16th. So we're going to do a whole new stream about that as well. Next, we have Mercury in Virgo from July 28th, October 4th. This is retrograde season. I cannot say that enough. Mercury is going to add to the drama for our life. But while Mercury is in Virgo, remember Mercury rules Virgo and Gemini. So this is giving us that precision in our speech, our thought, and to help us process what's important to us at this time, right? So this is a time for us to really analyze and decide what is useful and what we deem to be impractical. We have to understand we're dealing with the details that are natural and easy now. We need to be careful, though, to not lose that perspective that we talked about, right? Let's not get lost in the details. But while Mercury is in Virgo, we should be aware of the possibility of expressing ourselves in a too factual manner, so much that we come across as dry, critical, or unimaginative. So that's something we have to continue to realize, is that we're gravitating to the useful information, but at the same time, we can't get lost in the source, as some say, but we can also enjoy helping others with our own knowledge. And I do think this is a very important time for me personally, because this is time for analyzing, dissecting, putting the pieces together our own routines. We're talking about this Virgo energy, routines, bringing value, being of service. I do think that is helping us to have a bit more confidence in us to look at the details of our life, but at the same time lacking the confidence of that bigger picture. So we want to focus, try to find that balance, and also be a bit more conservative in our thinking, because we're going to have a strong tendency to want the facts and the certainties at this time. So next we have Venus in Leo from started June 5th that we talked about, and till about October 8th. So we're having a huge retrograde. This is the year I talked so much about, even at the beginning of this year. 2023 is the year of the transformation. This started, I believe, in 2019, and we're seeing the effects of it right now. Because we talked about this transit is longer, of course, because Venus is retrograde in Leo right now since about July 22nd. So this is a game changer. I'm not going to lie. We're going to be really tapping into our relationships. You know, what relationships work, what don't. We're feeding off this attention, acknowledgement, validation, and some adoration to a degree. But at the same time, while Venus is in Leo, we're going to be wanting to be adored, pampered, and admired as well. So we have a lot of pride right now. Our passions, we have a strong ego investment in our love lives during this period, right? But the negative of this expression is the placement of overstating our feelings simply for the effect, simply for the attention. So it's going to be extravagant, right? It's going to be a lot of drama. You know what I'm going to say the drama for yo mama. But this Venus and Leo cycle is a strong or even profitable time for contests, lotteries, parties, recreation. We talked a lot about, costumes and art dealing and jewelry, everything that represents this VO energy. So generosity and warmth are going to contribute to our ability to draw in the right resources. We're going to talk about right resources. We're going to talk about material things. We're going to talk about finances a lot when we're talking about Venus, right? We're going to tap into that with Jupiter as well. But this is our compelling desire to stand out, to be remarkable, and to feel special during this period. So that's something to continue to consider. Next, we have Mars in Virgo, which started from about July 10th to August 27th. So we have that Virgo energy is getting very pipey for all of us. Virgo Sun is coming here in the next couple of weeks as well. So this Mars energy is helping us to be that workhorse, right? We have the passion for the details, as well as we need to do the right thing at just the right time under this influence, like having a satisfaction of a job well done. That's the satisfaction. Those are those incentives, right? I talked a lot about being precise and being concerned about our performance. We can't get lost in the sauce during this energy, but at the same time, helping us to be more cautious, helping us to focus on the details, helping us to put the right efforts and having that right output, but also being disciplined. That's something that we have to, kind of focus on with the day-to-day activities. Is Virgo is about day-to-day, it's about routine, it's about maintenance, it's about health, it's about being of value. And I do think that starts with being disciplined with our daily habits and things like that. So that is something that we're definitely going to, we're all probably feeling right now. And what we're doing day to day, is that actually benefiting? Is it not? We're trying to reorganize, we're trying to restructure, because we're all propelling ourselves to this rebirth. And that means a rebirth in our consciousness on the way we look at life. And Mars being in Virgo, I actually love this placement more so than Aries, is because it's helping us to actually think. And I talk a lot about, with Mars being in the fire signs, we're not thinking, we're just doing. And sometimes that can be great, but sometimes we do need to understand that we have to actually think before we take action as well, because that is something that Virgo energy is about, being perfect. This is going to help us to be more of a workaholic type energy, and I kind of actually like this placement. So this also is going to help us to excel in mastering a particular skill as well with Mars in Virgo. Mars is about action. Mars is about full force going in. And this is something that we're going to focus a lot on the details. If you play an instrument like I do, trying to focus on that craft, or if you're in some type of creative venture, or maybe you might be bookkeeping, or maybe you might be a doctor and doing a lot of surgeries. This is something that's going to have a huge impact, because it's about the attention to detail. It's about the attention to our health, our nutrition. Maybe you might want to tap into the healing arts during this transit. So it's a lot of different things that this Mars in Virgo is going to kind of come out as. But at the same time, it's going to have us to be more irritable. It's going to be tension. It's going to be some nervousness, because this is going to be very tremendous on the way we look through our life, our own vision, helping us with our confidence, but it might suffer because of the limits we might place on ourselves. So that's something to think about, because we're having these high standards placed upon ourselves from ourselves during this cycle, which is going to actually help us to work harder, but we cannot overwork ourselves, because Mars loves to overwork and do the most. So we have to be more precise and more efficient while Mars is in Virgo. I love that. So next we have Jupiter in Taurus. We talked a lot about Jupiter with that T square from that full moon that we had in Aquarius. So this is helping us to be more practical. Remember, Venus does rule Taurus as well as Libra. So this cycle, we're trying to be clear on our goals. We're trying to have these tangible results. More specifically, with Jupiter and Taurus, we are going to attract the most good fortune when we are steady workers, when we're just putting it, when we're grinding, basically, being patient as well. I need to be talking to myself about being patient. I have zero patience, but with Jupiter and Taurus, I do think this is a prosperous time for us to kind of determine our worth, the worth of the product that we are possibly associating ourselves with, or what we're promoting, because this is going to help us to draw the resources that we need. And we're talking long-term financial investments as well. I do see this being very important in our own self-image and our self-worth, and I do think that contributes to our success as well. Next, we have Saturn in Pisces. While Saturn is in Pisces, there can be some frustration achieving practical goals until we learn to integrate our material and non-material values. I think I said that a ton, but it's like being comfortable in uncomfortable situations, understanding that there's a sense of like power in being vulnerable, in being weak, because that's actually going to drive us, right? Some of us, I know in my own personal life, being weak spiritually is something that, really tapping in. I think Saturn is helping us to see our weaknesses and how we need the Most High, and what we still need to uncover, and the lessons that we need to still understand. But I do think this is going to help us to fully allow ourselves with these human qualities, right? Well, we end up limiting ourselves, not because of the lack of opportunities, or the lack of people, or the lack of whatever. It's just the lack of what we think the Most High can do, right? So we're in this kind of void stage with our spirituality. Some of us are trying to learn and, like I said, integrate our spiritual to our material world, right? So this is something that maybe we're lacking some faith and trusting our own intuition, and that is like a limitless or limiting belief that is actually limitless, is what I'm saying. Is like when we're tapped in and understanding that we are all gods and goddesses. I don't care what anybody else says. The Most High is telling us with our intuition. We know what to do. We know what we're doing. We know what we're saying. And that is something that we all have to understand, is like, this is helping us to feel more comfortable offering tangible help and advice, more so than emotional support, right? We need these things that we can actually see. And that is something that I do think that actually comes from a lack of trust, when we actually have to see these things, even in my own personal life, feeling like I need to see this shit. It's like, no, fuck that. We already know what time it is because the Most High gave us a game plan, and because we don't see it in the time frame that we gave to it, that means that it's not going to happen. That's bullshit again. So I do believe it's a step by step, slowly but surely process for us at this time. So we're going to put our egos aside in order to get things done. Saturn is about working hard and putting in the service for others, and it being in Pisces. I do think this is a quietly working hard type strengthening position for us. So we're going to learn to allow ourselves to be creative and imaginative without any constrictions or restrictions from that Saturn energy. So that's something to think about as well. Next, we have Uranus in Taurus. We're going to approach money and personal possessions in new ways and learn to free ourselves from certain material constraints. Innovative ways to make ourselves comfortable are going to start to emerge. Remember, these outer planets take so much time for us to understand them, right? So by the time they're in another sign, we start to understand them when that cycle is over. But at the same time, there are going to be some abrupt changes with our money, our valuables, our possessions. There's going to be like a reshuffling of our priorities and values. I've had a lot of different bills and a lot of bullshit just come up out of nowhere. Still meditating on abundance, but I'm getting bills. That is something that we're going to all go through with our transformation, right? We want a new situation, or we want this, that, and the third, and then we get the opposite. Is because we're always going through tests. I think the Most High tests us so we can see how we deal with it. I probably failed so many times, but at the same time, it's understanding that we're gonna have to keep doing this shit until we get it right, and I'm okay with that, right? Because we have to understand that these different things that the Most High is giving us is just testing us to see where we're at in our spiritual, in our spiritual growth and in our spirituality. So that is something that we can all kind of learn from while Uranus is in Taurus. But this is going to be new ways of doing business, as well as making, viewing, and handling our finances as well. So our income and the energy we put into making money can be varied. So that's something to think about as well. But when I talk about Uranus, I'm always saying expect the unexpected, especially in Taurus. It's going to be a lot of great things that just happen in our financials, and I'm excited about that as well. Next, we have Neptune in Pisces. We also have Neptune retrograde, Saturn retrograde, Venus retrograde, Mercury is going to be retrograde. Pluto retrograde. This is retrograde season. This is rebirth season. This is reevaluating season. And Neptune is no different. Because this is something that we're trying to grasp the concept of Neptune and what it stands for, the meaning, and it kind of evades us, to kind of an overall degree. You have to remember, like, Neptune is a planet of dreams, fantasies, illusions, empathy as well. So this planet, I believe, is responsible for our vivid imagination and our ability to relate to others. We're still talking about Neptune, but we got that Pisces energy as well. So this planet dissolves around the boundaries that separate us from that universal love. But this is something that can be very misunderstood. Neptune can be just as deceptive as it is illuminating as well. So if Neptune is involved in these equations of our life, know that everything is as it seems. Is and is not as what it seems as well. So there's something to kind of think about. It's because Neptune is like a generational planet as well. So it moves very slowly. I don't believe this retrograde is going to have a huge, a huge impact on our kind of personal life or experience like the other planets, like Mercury, Venus, Mars as well, because these planets are closer to our sun. Remember, we are the sun. We have to understand that as well. There's a physical sun, and then there is our own sun, right? So that's something you have to understand. But the impact of Neptune retrograde takes months, like we talked about, to unfold, revealing an important truth by the time it's over. So that's something to think about while we're still in this Neptune retrograde. Last but not least, we have Pluto in Capricorn. So this transiting Pluto is going to offer us a chance to evolve and rebirth. How many times am I going to say that? This is that transformation. In my own personal life, I left a great business, having a lot of success, but at the same time, I knew there was something else that I needed to do that the Most High was tapping me in to do. And just forcing me in a sense. And I do think this year, 2023, is that rebirth. But this Pluto energy is going to strip away what is unnecessary or superficial in our lives. And that's why I always talk about this year is going to be spicy, because this is something that Pluto wants us to go deep in our experience of this transformation, right? Things are maybe not working out for us, or whether that's our thought process, our lifestyle. We're all going through a transformation. So we're rebirthing in the areas of our life that are being affected right now. Like a lot of us are going through different things. Maybe your situation with your career is great, but this situation is rebirthing. Or maybe like we don't know how it's going to come out. But it's definitely coming out in a way, right? So Pluto transits are about letting go of things that are holding us back from our profound and meaningful experiences. So fear sometimes, an intense fear, can reveal itself at the beginning of a challenging Pluto transit. So we know that it's always, darkest before the dawn type energy. We might attract some jealousy, manipulation, or controlling people or situations as Pluto revolutionizes us, right? Is that even a word? Revolutionizes? I love that. I don't even know if that's a word, but it is a word on today. But I do believe if we do this with Pluto's energy, it has to go somewhere, right? So we might end up meeting Pluto in our lives in disguise of events and people. So that's something to kind of think about when we're talking about astrology, when we're talking about spirituality. A lot of different things, and I was talking about this earlier today. A lot of different challenges or different things that we go through are actually lessons. And blessings to a degree, right? So when we think about when we're going through different things, it's because somehow there's light at the end of that tunnel, and that is something that we could all kind of understand as well. But that is the weekly cosmic forecast. We got that 888 portal coming up on tomorrow. And I'm gonna do a whole nother stream on that. I'm gonna drop that tomorrow as well. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. If you do want a reading, please send me your first and last name, date of birth, time of birth, and location of birth at officialmontu@gmail.com, and I will give you the most exact reading. Also, make sure you follow me on my socials at official Montu-Ra, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and official Montu_Ra, TikTok, and Instagram. If you want to see me live stream, make sure you get on Bigo Live and tap in with me at Montu-Ra. It's the God Young Montu-Ra, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.